Hello, this is GBO Bonsai, or known as XL, or also known as Erwin Rommel, 88th, or also known as Crimson Hawk, 88. Now, the thing is that I am using a raid, and this raid is pretty damn delicious. And when I mean delicious, it's not any sort of Mark type of mobile suit. It's not a Mark II, it's not a Mark III, it's not a Mark IV. It's a Mark V. Now keep that in mind, it's pretty damn legit, and it's 3 levels like insanely higher than a Mark V. In certain moments you just see this mobile suit reign supreme in a lot of specific moments when you know how to use this thing. Now, mastering this mobile suit is kind of a very interesting one, and as you can see, there is a player who is teleporting, and there will be a video basically showing, you know, players teleporting. And the reason why a lot of players are teleporting is they are either playing a PS5, you know, 30 frames ahead, you know, of you, so you have to keep that in mind. You have to get really aggressive towards those players. And you know, I'm just playing on a PS4, and playing on a PS4 you can just literally smash players who are just, you know, 30 frames ahead of you. And this was a video before the whole sort of update, when they noticed that there was something going on. Now this is the Mark V, and the Mark V is basically a very, very aggressive raid. And I've taken a lot of matches with this mobile suit. I just have a lot of pretty good videos. I have videos that are just second places, but I could not fit a lot of them in this specific video. Now I gotta say, man, this thing is just legit. I love this thing. You know, the reason why I love this mobile suit is the speed of this thing, man. The speed of this mobile suit is just remarkable. And I had to color this mobile suit gold because of how amazing this mobile suit feels, how effective this mobile suit is. And as you can see, there are players who are teleporting, and you know, the thing is that I always have to predict what they are going to run into a specific scenario to lead a shot on them, you know. And that's kind of a tip. You always have to lead your shot on players. If you don't lead your shot on players, you're just going to have a very, very, very hard time. And I will basically bring up a lot more tips in this video of how to approach players and how to aggressively get on top of dudes, you know, and get over their heads. And this is the video where I will be explaining the problems of being a raid. Now, being a raid is very hard. It's like bringing a pistol to a Gatling gun fight. And when I mean a Gatling gun meaning generals. Now, generals, this is one of the problems of this game. And generals, majority of the time you get 5v1. You would probably get 6v1 in, you know, really bad scenarios when a whole enemy team decides to become nothing but generals. Now that is really bad, you know what I mean? Like I'm probably the only dude out there who really loves, like when I mean love, I really love raids. and I'm just trying to do everything I can to give support for raids all the time. I'm just trying and trying, and getting support for raids is just one of those things that is just very hard to, you know, get aggressive with a raid when a whole enemy team are just trying to shoot you, you know. And when they're trying to shoot you as a raid, you have to be aggressive. You can't hold back. No matter what you do, you cannot hold back. You have to find a specific gap, and if you find a specific gap, you can use a raid like amazingly sometimes. And what I mean sometimes, if you land your shots right, if you land it all the time aggressively, you can come out on top. But the problem is that sometimes there are literally 5 generals aiming at you, so you basically have to miss all those 5 players. You have to miss them all, you know. And that's where the maneuver armor comes in place. It gets put to good use. If you use maneuver armor smartly and effectively, you can bait a lot of general shots. Now this is a Mark V. Now the Mark V is just legit, and when I mean legit, this mobile suit can, you know, it can dodge roll. It has a anti-blast stabilizer where it keeps you from exploding near an enemy. It also has 15% less damage of getting shot by an enemy opponent. And this mobile suit can be very, very fabulous. And when I mean very fabulous, it's just, you have to get in there, man. You have to get really aggressive. You have to look, and when I mean look, you have to keep your eyes set on enemy opponents. You have to keep your eyes literally looking at them, and if you don't look at your opponents, you're going to have a very hard time trying to figure out how to, you know, maneuver in certain type of scenarios. As you can see, we had one of our team members leave the match, and when one of our team members left the match, I was just very frustrated, and I found myself just trying to get really aggressive. And when I mean really aggressive, I was trying to, you know, stop the enemy team from basically winning this match. And that's the problem, you know. Sometimes you can see a dude who just literally tried to leave out of the match because either there are 3 reasons, and 3 reasons only. They have some really bad internet service, either their gaming system probably got cut, or third, they were very pissed off because they kept on getting wrecked, which is very understandable. Now, I'm going to bring up the whole sort of thing about raids, and raids are just in the bottom of the food chain. You know what I mean? Like, it's one of those things that is just very hard to use in certain scenarios. Now, you have to fight generals. No matter what, you have to fight generals to get to the supports. If you don't fight the generals to get to the supports, you're either going to get, you know, molested by generals the whole way trying to get to the support. You know, if you completely ignore generals, fine by me, but you're gonna learn the hard way. You have to get really aggressive with raids, and raids don't get that much love, and a lot of people don't like using raids because of how hard it is to get really aggressive with these things. Now, I will be mentioning all the sorts of things that this mole suit carries, and it whips like deliciously. And the thickness of this bad boy is just real nice. and I had to feel really good with this goldenlicious type of potential this firepower this bad boy has. And you know, one of my team members, hell yeah, was able to finish that support before doing anything really devastatingly naughty on me. So I had to go in there really aggressive, really effective. Now, there are a lot of players who play a little bit more differently than I do. You know, I tend to play very awkward. Like, I'm just one of those, the rare breeds. Like, I don't know why, but it's freaking weird. Now, I don't know how many times I've been able to get first places in so many games, and when I mean so many games, I just tend to get first places naturally. Probably thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of times. I have no clue, but you know, I really lost count of how many times I get freaking first place in games, or second place, or third place, or who knows. Now, the problem with raids is that your damage is just 2 times less effective than generals. And the thing about generals is that they have like 10 times much more potential than a raid. Now, what I find really amazing about this mobile suit is that even if a general shoots the shield off, this mobile suit doesn't get staggered by that shield. And man, this mobile suit just really nice, really futuristic, really freaking amazing mobile suit. And when I mean amazing mobile suit, it throws in power. And when I mean it throws in power, it's a Mark V, man. It's a delicious number that just tickles, man. It really tickles. You know, I know number 5 ain't my favorite number, but you know, it's pretty savage. And if I had to rate this mobile suit, I'd give this mobile suit like 11 out of 10. And when I mean 11 out of 10, it's just the power this mobile suit has. Now, I would have gave this mobile suit a probably 12 out of 10 if it had, you know, machine guns on it, like extra machine guns. But apparently it doesn't have it. It kind of disappoints me, but you know, oh well. You have to work with what you have with this mobile suit. Now, the speed of the melee of this mobile suit, it's very rapid. You know, I believe the speed of the melee is almost like every single 3 seconds before you go to like the second melee. I'm kind of disappointed that this mobile suit doesn't have 3 melees, but with the armament that it currently has, it really blows me away. These videos were basically videos I had like around probably like a month ago, probably something like that. I really don't remember the day, but this was the time during when players just kept on disappearing. And as you can see, pretty buggy stuff right there, and I'm still trying to deal with this buggy type of nonsense all the time. Now, I wanted to get really aggressive with the support, got real nice in there, real great, really awesome. And that's the thing, you know, when you're using a raid, take advantage of trying to chase down the supports. If you chase down the supports, the whole enemy team will crumble. And when I mean crumble, they won't stand a chance. Now, this bad boy has a long, thick beam saber. And when I mean beam saber, this beam saber can reach opponents where they really didn't expect you to reach, you know. They can literally whip a woman's butt from a mile away, and that's what I love about this goddamn freaking mobile suit. Now, using this mobile suit, you have a really insane reach of melee, and sometimes it really throws off enemy opponents, and that's what I love about this Mosu, and that's why I gave it, you know, a kind of a really legit rating, because of the beam saber. Oh man, the damage aspect of the beam saber that this Mosu pounds on opponents is really insane stuff. Sometimes opponents can't figure out what is happening, because you can literally hit an opponent across, you know, the other opponent because of the length of the beam saber. Now, it's very hard to use raids. It's very understandable. Raids get pooped on. They get underwhelmed a lot. Now, generals have a habit to hunt down raids all the time, because generals' one job is to hunt down raids, to stop the raids from hunting supports. Now, when you are basically a raid, sometimes, and what I mean sometimes, if you get real nice, you get real aggressive, sometimes enemy players can't stop it, you know. Now, the thing about raids is that when you see a raid trying to approach you, ways to stop a raid is always trying to catch it. And when you catch a raid's melee, it could do some really nice, devastating things. Right there at that specific moment, I don't know what I was specifically doing, but my mind was kind of all over the place, because you have to keep in track with 5 players, 6 players, all in the same time if you're using a raid. Now, using this Mark V, boy oh boy, it comes with a plethora full of amazing weapons, and it comes with a nice beam rifle. And you know, sometimes you could slip a shot through the guy's legs and you end out shooting the dude from the other side. Now, as you can see, I was doing a 1v1 type of scenario. I have a bunch of 1v1 type of videos with this Mark V, just testing its capabilities. Now, majority of the time when I use a general, I would probably get real nice and aggressive with generals. Now, generals tend to have a very, very hard time trying to get real nice and aggressive with this. Now, this whole sort of fight with the O, I was basically like underperforming. I was using this mole suit real bad, very bad. Like, I was trying to get real nice and aggressive with this mole suit, and I was able to catch this O, and that O is just terrifying. Just fighting these O's are just not fair sometimes, you know what I mean? When you're using a raid, in the other side of the person's view, that man was probably really pissed off because he got his ass beat by a raid. Now, it's understandable, and I'm not 100% sure if he came in to shoot me, but you have to keep in mind, when you're going up against an O, they got maneuver armor, and if they got maneuver armor, they have a huge advantage. And I was trying to get a nice angle with the pinchers, and that's what I love about this Mosu, is the beautiful pinchers. When you land these pinchers, the second victim shot of the pincher usually staggers the dude. I was having a hard time trying to do some maneuvers on this guy, but he was doing a absolutely good, amazing job. All he needed was one shot to finish me off. Now, keep in mind, it would usually take me like around, let me see, maybe 10 shots or 12 shots to finish off a general with this rifle. And for a general, it usually takes like around 4 shots, or I think 6 shots or something like that, to finish off a raid. Now I was trying to get real nice, real aggressive with this mole suit, and I had this one match with this guy, and he was just a higher level, and he was basically nodding at me. And he doesn't know what a really good pilot is when he doesn't realize how good a raid player can be when he's abusing a general. Now, players can abuse generals like all the time, which is understandable. I was trying to use the beautiful reach of this blade, and I was capable of doing some nice naughty damage right there. And the beam saber is strong enough to knock out dudes. Like, yo, this Mark V is legit. And when I mean legit, now it's really hilarious, because I believe I have a video of this specific raid just terrorizing supports. You know what I mean? And terrorizing supports is, it's sad. You know what I mean? And I feel like supports need a buff to fight against, you know, raids in certain moments. But, you know, having to deal with a bunch of generals is kind of a pain in the ass. Now, I have a lot of good videos with these raids, and these raid videos are pretty damn legit. They're pretty damn decent. When you're fighting a DJ SER, I think, those mobile suits, they can constantly throw beam after beam after beam and beam, and you know, they can stagger you, and they stagger you like very repulsively, and it really isn't fair sometimes. And when I mean it really isn't fair, sometimes you just question. Now right there, I was able to enable this mobile suit's capability. When it goes for melee, it can absolutely ignore a lot of enemy players' melee certain moments, and it's just hilarious certain moments. And I believe that's how it should be. When I mean how it should be, when you go melee ahead of the other person in front of you, it should be the end of the confrontation. You know what I mean? And majority of the times, melee priority doesn't really matter. You know what I mean? Like, melee priority can be bullshit. Sometimes it can't be bullshit. Now, this Mark V, it kicks ass in all sorts of levels. And if I had to recommend this mouse, I would recommend it. But be advised, you're gonna really struggle with this mouse, and if you want to get on top of players, I highly advise not to use raids on generals. Now, I've been wanting to put a whole sort of support thing on raids, but raids just, they don't get the love, and generals would just basically shit on them all the time. Now, the problem with like generals is that they don't have maneuver armor, but some do. And when I mean some do, like the DJs have maneuver armors, the Dresden have maneuver armor, and it just doesn't make any sense. Why do they get a whole sort of maneuver aspect And if they have a whole sort of maneuver aspect, doesn't that mean that they can take advantage off of raids even more? Like, what's the whole idea? You know, sometimes it just be really hard. And as you can see, it was Mark 5 versus a Mark 5, and it was a very hard fight with this guy, but he was basically being outnumbered by another guy right next to me. Right here, I was taking advantage of the beautiful length of this blade, and if you take advantage of the beautiful length of this blade, you can come out on top of, you know, a lot of fights. And it's just hilarious, you know. And this blade kind of reminds me of the blade that the Zeta has, the double Zeta. And when I mean the double Zeta, it's just hilarious. Now, as you can see, a lot of the moments I've been practicing how to get my melees onto dudes who are trying to attack me in the same time. And I believe this is also another match where players are just like jumping from one spot to another spot. And one of the reasons why I stopped playing a lot of this Gundam game, because of the 30 frames ahead type of thing. And they get better internet reception within these these systems. Now, if you're under a kind of a system right now, as you can see, the guy kind of disappeared and I'm having a connection problem. And if the place that you live in is currently like pretty heated, and it can actually disrupt your way and getting ahead of situations. But majority of the time it has something to do with something else, but I do not know what it is. As you can see, that man had to jump. I had to predict where he's jumping. Now I was able to go in for the finisher off of that general, which was really nice. And the thing about this raid, it does really thick, heavy damage. Now, that mobile suit right in front of me, now that Taurus Rider is one of the best generals in the entire game. And when I mean one of the best generals in the entire game, that mobile suit is how can I say it? It's very terrifying. And when I mean very terrifying, sometimes you can't do two things against that Taurus Rider, especially if you are a raid. You don't even stand a chance against one of those mobile suits. That Taurus Rider is basically invincible. Like, if you can learn that mobile suit to the ins and out, I don't have it, but if you learn that mobile suit ins and out, that mobile suit can be invincible to the point that you won't be defeated with it. And I have a lot of videos of not dying, like with specific mobile suits, and it's pretty amazing stuff. Now, the Taurus Rider, I did not want to fight that thing. I had to run away because that mobile suit is just, it's very dangerous. And when I mean very dangerous, it's like a Pell Rider had sex with a, what's that one freaking mobile suit called? Had sex with God damn, I forgot what the hell that freaking mobile suit is. But basically the mobile suit with it's basically a raid. Oh, Bao, that's what it's called. Now, the Taurus Rider is a 13 out of 10. That's how good that mobile suit is. When you're fighting against the Taurus Rider, it's just very hard to go up against. And if you ever pull that thing, you will see what I'm talking about. It's very very hard. It's very evil. You know what I mean? Now, when you're using this Mark V, you're going to have moments when you're gonna get outnumbered, and you literally spam the support me button. You literally spam it, and sometimes you just literally are alone. I rarely spam support me, but when I do, it might be very necessary. But it can be very painful scenarios, and if you just jump into the worst scenario ever, it's very hard. Now the Taurus Rider, I didn't want to fight that thing. I didn't want to fight it. It's just too powerful. You know what I mean? Those mobile suits are just a little bit too powerful. I was trying to go after this DJ SER. I'm getting my ass tailed right now. Like, that's the thing. You know, you have to keep track of the map. You have to keep an eye of what's going on. If you don't keep an eye of what's going on, then you're going to struggle. Now, throughout this whole moment, I was just getting staggered constantly. And that is going to be almost every single game when you're using a raid. Now, using a raid, you have to fight the generals. I didn't fight a single general right there. I was just basically ignoring the general. I was going after the ace. You know, I was trying to get a nice shot on the ace, but I didn't have the perfect shot. And you have to, what's the word? You have to dig your mind into using a raid. Generals are kind of a specific type of thing, and as you can see, players just teleporting, popping 30 frames a little bit more faster. And look, this is a problem with using a raid. You know what I mean? I couldn't do a single thing right there, and that's a problem. You know, when a bunch of generals are just aiming at you, you tend to be, you know, paralyzed like a goddamn freaking spider injecting a paralyzing venom onto its prey. Not just the one spider, but 5 spiders. And this is a specific video showing how sad it is to use a support. 100% of the time when I'm using a raid and I'm going against the support on 1v1 scenarios, I'm always winning, but I never show the videos. I never show it because it's fudged up. It's really fudged up stuff. But man, it's really sad stuff. And yeah, this thing's got dual pinchers. It's got a beam rifle. It's literally got its dual cannons, and the dual cannons, I believe if you land your second shot with your dual cannon, it staggers an opponent. Now you can do a stagger combination when you use the pincher and the cannon together in the same time. If you use that together in the same time, you can get real nice aggressive shots. Now what I love about this thing is just oof, the nice beautiful speed that this thing, and look at the beautiful reach of this melee. Sometimes the melee can be a little bit too much, and I can't figure it out. But that dude, you can't stand a chance against raids when you're using a support, and that's the sad thing, you know. It's kind of like a a Pokemon type of thing where it's just fire versus leaf and then water versus fire, you know, type of combination. And I kind of like that sort of feeling, but if you're trying to use, if if you're trying to use a mobile suit, like your favorite mobile suit, and it's like a raid, you're gonna have to fight 3 times harder to get results, kind of results. Now, some players can pull it off because they are natural at it. They can be like what's the word? Freaking mad new types. And what I was actually surprised when I pulled this mole suit, I was surprised that this was a raid. I thought this mole suit was a general, and it was kind of disappointing that. And as you can see, I was jumping at this guy, but you know, he obviously knew I was gonna go for the melee. But he was just a little bit too slow with his melee, and boom! I didn't have to go extra boost. You know, that's what I love about this mole suit. And it's thick, it's big, and it's a solid beast. And when I mean solid beast, it's wicked. You know what I mean? Like, it's got some nice boost, and you start feeling like, yo, man, they probably injected this bad boy with so much goddamn gas. You know what I mean? And I love this thing. And I love Gundam. You know, I love this Gundam game. Look at this, dude. Poor dude. I felt bad. Like, I literally felt bad, you know, doing this 1v1. But I clearly state when I do 1v1s, I put the word fight. Alright? I don't come in for, you know, experience or come in for extras. I just want to fight. You know what I mean? Now, I gotta say, man, Gundam Battle Operations 2 has to be one of the best Gundam games ever created. I've played all sorts of Gundam games, but this has to be one of the best online Gundam game ever created. When I mean best online Gundam game ever created, I'm saying that because of one reason and one reason only. They keep on popping in a lot of mobile suits, and a lot of these mobile suits I've never seen before. I'm just like, whoa, that's a new ass mobile suit, you know, and it really blows me away a lot of times. Look at this guy, poor man. I'm sorry. Like, and look at that. I love the boost. The swiftness of this mole suit is just wickedly awesome. Now, I've had S- players and A+ players trying to fight this mole suit. They have a hard time trying to fight this thing. You know what I mean? But majority of the time they don't have this mole suit unlocked. You know. And this mole suit's such cheese. Sometimes it could be a little bit too much cheese. And when I mean too much cheese, the pinchers are the most cheesiest things ever. And when I mean really cheesy, it could be really not fair sometimes. I was going to finish that man real quick, fast, easy. But that's the thing. When you're using this mole suit, you can literally use the pincers behind cover, and it automatically locks onto dudes. And when it literally locks onto dudes, it really takes opponents by surprise. And that's the problem about these new mobile suits that they have lately. Is a lot of these mole suits have these lock-on pinchers or lock-on funnels or lock-on whatever sort of things, like what's that one freaking mole suit that I really despise using? It's a support, but I forgot what it's named. but it's just the pincers don't even lock on. You know what I mean? Like, it really triggers me. I'm just like, hey, what the heck? And man, this mole suit can be like really legit, but sometimes I just don't have time to master a lot of these mole suits, because majority of the time you be getting mole suits like, oh, that's a new mole suit, I want to use that thing. Oh, that's a new mole suit, I want to use that thing. You know what I mean? And that's what I love about this game, because you have to use almost everything. You have to use them all. And the problem is, another tip is that, you know, a lot of players, they don't want to fight. You know, sometimes they just tend to give up. Like the low tier players, they tend to give up and let players like me get on top of them. You know what I mean? And it's kind of sad, but true in a way. I kind of messed up right there. I was trying to get my shots on, but I could not get my shots on. And they were doing a really good job. They were providing cover for the support. And the support probably spammed the word support me. Because if you lose the support, sometimes you tend to lose the game. There are moments when you can have a whole team full of raids. You literally have a whole team full of raids, and this whole team of raids literally step on everybody. You know why? Because there are some raids that come with a infinity melee. An infinity melee meaning that they can just hit the dude forever and ever, and dude can't do two things about it. You know what I mean? And it's just hilarious because, you know, man, this game can be trolly sometimes. And when I mean trolly, there can be literally a dude who's just literally stepping on you throughout this whole game. You know what I mean? And if there's a dude stepping on you this whole game, you have to keep in mind, you gotta think twice before doing a movement if you're using a raid, because, you know, sometimes you could literally be a raid and you can die throughout the whole match. Like, you could die 6 times because all the generals are killing you. Oh hell, you can die probably like 10 times. There was this one time I remember my noob days when I was using a raid in C or something like that, and I was just getting stepped on. I was just getting stepped on over and over again. I was like, what the hell? And it was just kind of a painful match, but I kept going through it, because sometimes you just have to bear with it to the very end, because sometimes, man, you get those games where just like you get outnumbered by your opponents, but you end up winning the game, and it's just hilarious. It's hilarious, you know. And then like the whole enemy team just starts getting disappointed because some dude left the match. Now look at this, savage, boom. That's what I love about this thing. You just come in, pop shots, this and that. And look at the whip of the sword. The whip of the sword was just so nice. It was able to reach way below under my goddamn feet, man. The reach of this melee is insane. Now, if you always wanted a mole suit with the biggest sword and you don't feel too slow with it, this is one of those bad boys. You know what I mean? You know, this is the sort of a thing that women want. You know, like women want a big, a thick, you know, thick hands, thick this, thick that. You know, thick blade. And you know, it's just kind of hilarious. I was trying to go after this support. It was a good spot for me. Miss. Going in for the melee again. Boom. Beautiful. and you know, it's insane. And majority of the time, I would see people just spamming tactics. They'd be spamming tactics in the team chat. Some tactics work, some tactics don't. You know, sometimes they can say like a tactic where what sort of tactic? They would say the most dumbest. They would say the most dumbest tactics, and you're just like, why do you want to do that? The whole team is going to lose. You know, like there would be literally a dude who would say like, hey, everybody, move up, and there's only one guy moving up. You know what I mean? Like, and the whole team is just literally like in the back. And the one guy who's moving up is just literally holding off, like literally holding off the whole enemy team by himself. You know what I mean? And I swear to God, man, like when I play, dude, I play to win the match. I play to whip butt. You know what I mean? And the thing is like, man, dude, the tactics that I've seen players say, I'm not sure if they're kind of like Japanese tactics or Korean tactics, but man, sometimes they be saying things like, yo, that's some whack tactic. You know what I mean? And the thing is that, you know, there are real generals in real life. You know, they be studying tactics till the day they die. You know, military guys, you know. And they bring up the most insane type of things like, oh, do this will be very unpredictable. Do this sort of tactic, they won't see this sort of thing coming at all. You know what I mean? But as you can see, look at that. I'm a freaking raid, you know what I mean? Like, bruh, how am I getting ace as a raid? You know, it's just, it really blows me away. Maybe it's just I'm just too good with the raids sometimes. You know what I mean? And it just, some players in some games just don't realize how hard it is. They don't know how hard it is. They probably shrug it off like, oh, that looks easy. It's not easy. It really isn't. And see y'all later. Take care. Enjoy your day. And this mall suit, 11 out of 10. Whips butt.